Imagine you are a paint shop owner in Bombay in 1942. A customer walks in and asks for paint. You look at your shelves, they're almost empty. Not because people stopped buying paint, but because the world was at war. World War II had disrupted global trade and imported paint was becoming difficult to get. For a country that depended heavily on foreign manufacturers, this wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a business opportunity waiting for someone to notice. Most people looked at the shortage and complained, but four friends looked at it and asked, if foreign companies can't supply to India, why can't we? That simple question became the beginning of Asian Paints. Now, here is what interesting. These four founders, Champaklal, Chimanlal, Suryakant, and Arvind, weren't famous industrialists. They didn't have giant factories. They didn't have unlimited money too. They certainly didn't have a brand people trusted. All they had was confidence that an Indian company could compete in a market controlled by established foreign players. At the start, the company was the easy part. But the real challenge was selling the very first tin of paint. Just think about it. If you owned a paint shop, would you stock a product from a company nobody had heard of? Probably not, right? And that's exactly the problem Asian Paints faced. Dealers preferred brands that customers already knew, and every rejection meant unsold inventory. Every unsold tin meant cash stuck in a warehouse instead of being used to grow the business. For a young company with limited resources, that pressure was real. The founders quickly realized they couldn't outspend bigger competitors on advertising. So they tried something different. Instead of asking, how do we sell more paint? They asked, how do we become the company every dealer wants to work with? That single change in thinking shaped the future of Asian Paints. The founders traveled from shop to shop, meeting dealers personally. They listened to the problems. They focused on reliable deliveries and consistent quality. It wasn't a strategy that produced overnight success, but it slowly built something much more valuable than an advertising campaign. Trust. One dealer recommended them to another. Small orders became regular orders, and regular orders became long-term relationships. Without making much noise, Asian Paints was quietly building a network that would one day become one of its biggest strengths. But just as the company started gaining momentum, a bigger challenge appeared. Winning customers was difficult. For the first few years, Asian Paints was simply trying to survive every day. They had a new challenge every day. Raw materials were expensive, production had to be carefully planned, and every wrong decision could cost money the company couldn't afford to lose. But the biggest challenge wasn't inside the factory, it was outside. Trust. Customers already knew the established foreign brands. So why would they choose an unknown Indian company? Asian Paints understood that winning the customer starts by winning the dealer. Instead of chasing quick sales, the company focused on building a strong network of paint dealers across India. If dealers believed in the brand, customers would eventually follow. It wasn't the fastest strategy, but it was one of the smartest. Then came another important decision. While many competitors focused mainly on large cities, Asian Paints steadily expanded its reach into smaller towns and growing markets. These places were often overlooked, but together they represented enormous potential. Year after year, that network grew stronger. Soon, dealers weren't just selling Asian Paints, they were recommending it. That recommendation became more powerful than any advertisement. Business was improving, the company was growing, but growth created a completely different problem. Imagine managing thousands of paint shades across hundreds of towns. A color that sold quickly in one city might barely sell in another city. If the company produced too much, money remained locked in unsold inventory. If it produced too little, customers walked away disappointed. This wasn't just a logistic problem. It was a business problem that could slow the company's growth. The leadership believed there had to be a better way, and the solution they chose surprised the entire industry. It had nothing to do with creating a new type of paint. It had everything to do with information. By the late 1960s, Asian Paints had achieved something very few people thought was possible. The small company that started during World War II had become India's largest paint company. But reaching the top is one thing, staying there is much harder. As India grew, so did customer expectations. People no longer wanted just white paint. They wanted hundreds of colors, different finishes, better quality, faster delivery. For most paint companies, this became a nightmare. Imagine predicting which color would sell in Jaipur and which shade would be popular in Chennai and how much stock each dealer would need weeks in advance. That's where Asian Paints did something unusual. Instead of relying only on experience, it invested in technology and data to understand demand better and improve planning. At a time when many companies still depended on manual process, Asian Paints focused on making its supply chain faster and more reliable. This wasn't a flashy investment. Customers never saw it, but dealers felt the difference. Painters felt the difference. Homes got painted on time. The right products reached the right place more consistently. And every successful delivery strengthened trust in the brand. While competitors were busy selling paint, Asian Paints was building a system that made buying paint easier. That became one of its biggest advantages. Years passed. New competitors entered the market. Some had bigger budgets. Some launched aggressive advertising campaigns. But Asian Paints had already built something that couldn't be copied overnight. A trusted dealer network, strong customer relationships, operational excellence, and a reputation of reliability. The company didn't stop with paint either. It expanded into waterproofing, home decor, bath fittings, kitchen, and other home improvement categories, evolving from a paint manufacturer into a broader home solutions company. And today, Asian Paints is one of India's most recognized brands with operations in multiple countries and millions of customers. But here is the most interesting part. Its biggest success didn't begin with a revolutionary product, it began with a simple observation. When everyone else saw a shortage during World War II, four friends saw an opportunity. When they couldn't outspend their competitors, they earned trust. When business became more complicated, they invested in better systems. And instead of chasing quick success, they kept solving one problem after another. Maybe that's the real lesson behind Asian Paints. Great companies aren't built because they have all the answers, but they are built because they keep asking better questions. So the next time you walk into a freshly painted home, just remember, behind those colorful walls in a company that started with four ordinary friends during one of the most uncertain periods in history and proved that the biggest opportunities are hidden inside biggest challenges. This wasn't just the story of Asian Paints. It was the story of seeing possibility wherever everyone else saw problems.